Hello there you, and welcome to this mega collection of some of my favourite battles from the Orc army, all joined together in one mega collection. Feel free to enjoy the entire video or skip through to your favourite battles. With all that being said, thanks so much for the support on the channel recently, and let's get on with the fighting. Hello there you, and welcome to an Imperial Guard artillery installation that's been tasked with defending this reservoir from a greenskin probing attack. Will the Imperials be able to hold the line, or will the war consume all in its path? As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. Now, let's get on with the battle. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off today's invasion. The Greenskins launching a full-on probing attack here, testing out the defenses of the dam site. Now, the Imperial Guard, unfortunately, don't have that many troops here to defend the location, only about 75,000. We have got some conscript reinforcements from the back line, trying to make their way forward to support and try to countercharge the Greenskin horde. At the moment, just poor Imperial conscripts, as always, on the front line. They're going to be the first bait here for the Greenskins to throw themselves against. Now, they have got to try and defend this dam as best as they can, holding this heavy plateau, where you can see that the Death Corps are currently holding it next to some Creed here. Creed? Krieg. No, that's completely wrong. They're not the Krieg. Oh my gosh. For a second there, I forgot that they were called Cadians. I don't know why. For some reason, I was thinking of the guy from The Office, the bald guy named Creed. I don't know why he popped into my head, but yeah, and then I got confused with the Krieg. Oh, that's weird. But look at this magnificent horde here, making its way into the Imperial lines bit by bit, as the artillery sends them skimming through the air. Absolutely magnificent stuff. We have got lemon Russies here as well, adding zesty power to that front line. God, that's pretty gruesome. But look at this though, the Orcs are making their way through bit by bit, creating a really big gap in the Imperial line actually. The artillery needs to work overtime if it really wants to do any damage here. Oh man, the poor Imperials taking stupendous losses. That's the life of a conscript for you, quite frankly. They never stood a chance. Hopefully though that the Cadians and the rest of the Death Corps over here can help can help hold back the Greenskin tides. Now, like I said, we have got a countercharge coming in the form of more conscripts. These guys are going to be trying to engage in melee here and hold back the hordes. But is it going to be enough? It does look like most of the lower conscript line has been chewed up and spat out. Our second conscript line is holding out really nicely at the moment, though. Imperials coming up to 75,000 kills. The Orcs have got about 12,000 under their belts. But they have decimated that front conscript line. There's nothing left as the goo of their own teammates makes its way down into the inner workings of the city there. Oh, that's absolutely magnificent. Look at all that. Should call them O.J. Simpson because they are the juice. And it's just even more pouring down. That's absolutely gruesome. Oh man, the Orcs here, slowly being turned into sushi by the Imperial guns. Now we have got overlapping firepower. Oh my god, talk about point-blank artillery shots. But yeah, we have got overlapping firepower here from the Kriegs and the Cadians, which is going to make it extremely difficult here for the Orcs to actually push through. But again, Orcs are getting them Storm Boys to our front line, invaluable units to the Orcs. If the artillery hits them, there's a good chance that they can actually survive. So there we go, look at that. Couple of the Storm Boys here managed to survive the artillery hit, and they get blasted into the center of the Imperial Guard lines where they're able to disrupt the firepower. But again, slowly but surely, Orcs trying to chew their way through the second conscript line here. The Imperial Guard countercharge on the flanks, largely unsupported as well in the distance, one might add. All the firepower is focused onto this front line. Now the plateau, though, of course, to the Imperials, very, very valuable, offering them a really good overview of the entire battlefield here. And that artillery is taking full advantage where it can. Oh man, looks like some of the Lehman Russies there have already been overwhelmed just a little bit. The Orcs now slowed down the roll. As soon as they've met the Cadians and the Kriegsmen, their advance has been slowed down just a little bit now. Being held in place. We have got, again, more conscripts trying to countercharge through the masses here. to greet the greenskin horde. Oh my god, look at that horde. That's such a cool sight, man. Watching the orcs just come storming over a hill like that. The boys ready for a stomping. They're doing some crumping over the hill. That, again, Imperial artillery though. Magnificent to watch in action, just sending things scattering through the stratosphere. Oh, magnificent stuff. More orcs here going on a holiday. Oh, look at this dude. He's getting focused down heavy there. More and more orcs, though, getting tossed through the air. You've got to absolutely love it. But the orcs are taking stupendous losses trying to achieve this. We're at 160,000 losses almost now for the orcs. They have killed 33,000, almost half of the Imperial Guard defenders. And look at this. Some orcs decided to wear purple today. And they're trying to sneak around the back. However, the Imperial Guard have noticed them because unfortunately for them, they're not purple. And now we get an Imperial Guard countercharge trying to make a front line here to meet the Greenskins who have made their way across the riverbed. But it kind of feels like some of the orcs are getting a bit thinned out. Look at this. Nowhere near as many orcs now pushing this front line as there was just. Are the orcs going to have enough units to be able to capitulate this plateau and capture it from the Imperials? I'm not quite sure, man. That's a lot of losses they've taken now. And they're getting thinned out massively before they get to that front line. Except that overlapping firepower from the Imperials and Cadians is not to be trifled with. But again, orcs are totally undeterred, not caring about the insane losses that they're taking. All they care about is getting to that front line and having a good stomp. Look at this, the bodies are really starting to pile up as well now. Oh man, how are we doing on this side with the orcs? Oh yeah, it looks like they're taking a little bit of a beating here. But this could be good, you know. We have got now split firepower coming from that plateau. Not all of it is concentrated at the front lines anymore. So this could actually be quite good for the orcs over this side. The orcs here with 89,000 units remaining. They really need to start outflanking the... Yeah, I was just about to say, they need to start outflanking the Imperials, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing now on our far flank. So maybe what we're going to get then is this weird little surge. So I do think that the orcs might be able to clear up all these Imperial Guardsmen here. Certainly feels like there's enough orcs in the area. But they are getting siphoned off as well, though, into this defensive line. It's almost like the orcs have got a split force now. We've got one on this side of the field and one on that side. In fact, it's almost split in three, considering that we've got another force coming around this way. Again, they've been taking a lot of losses, and the Imperials are just trickling reinforcements into this line, ensuring that it doesn't push too far forward. And that's worked out really well for them so far. A lot of the orcs over this side getting stuck actually trying to get around the cliff. They're just packed in like sardines and they can't move. More and more orcs keep joining the queue at the back. That's how you can tell orcs are British. They all queue up for the fight. Man, yeah, look at that though. Getting thinned out heavily on this flank. Orcs really need to capitulate the Imperial Guard round here to actually have a chance. They're taking stupendous losses here, and the kill counter is really starting to catch up. The Imperial, 16,000 left. Orcs with 60. It is still all to play for, though. Again, a large chunk of these Imperials are actually in conscript form, as in melee conscripts, so the Orcs can have a good old fight there. But they're just playing distraction tactics at the moment. The Orcs getting distracted by the Imperials charging forward, and they're just piling up the corpses beneath their feet. Again, Imperial artillery really doing its work, helping disrupt the thicker formations of Orcs. But it does look like, though, that the Orcs are making a little bit of ground on this side. Not as many Imperials now being thrown at this front line, though. There we go. Another large group being flung at it. But is it going to be too late here? Orcs, 48,000 remaining. That kill counter is starting to really catch up with them. And I've got to say, I think the Orcs really need to get this group gone. I've said it a few times now, but they're starting to really run out of reinforcements, man. They can't keep up this two-pronged assault for much longer, and they really need to keep this firepower of the Cadians here distracted from being able to lend it to this front line. Because otherwise, the Orcs are just going to have no chance of getting up here. Like I said, they're all getting bogged down by being stuck on this cliff face, basically. Oh, man. Oh, man. And that artillery is just raining down. But it doesn't look like the group has been enough yet to deter the orcs on this side. Like I said, we're starting to get this dichotomy now where the firepower is just being delivered to 3 different areas in the battlefield. Oh, look at that. We've got a massive group of orcs over there still. And we're going to have a big surge coming in. 34,000 against 10. It's a 3-to-1 ratio now in favor of the orcs. But the orcs are on the offense here. And the rules of war typically say that to perform offensive operations, you'd need a 3-to-1 advantage over your enemy to have success. So, I mean, according to real-world war, the orcs are still in with a chance. They have got that 3-to-1 advantage. But how it's deployed is going to be a very different matter because, yeah, it looks like a lot of the orcs are actually still stuck in the village down this part here. Again, a nice flanking maneuver that we've got coming in. But this is basically the be-all and end-all of it for the orcs now. If they're not successful with this flanking assault, I don't think it's going to actually happen for them. The more and more of these Cadians that they can take out, the better, because the Cadians on this battlefield actually have a lot of firepower. Probably one of the strongest last rifles here on the field. And man, look at that. You can tell the orcs are getting melted as they push into them. Again, artillery lending its fire support to that front line. But we've only got a trickle of units coming in for the orcs on the other sides now. We did have a big force on this side, but again, Imperial's able to just trickle enough reinforcements in to hold them in place, allowing them guns to focus that firepower. Very effective tactic here for the Imperials. And I do think, oh man, look at that. I do think that we're taking so many losses here with the orcs that it's just going to be almost impossible. They're losing that 3-to-1 advantage rapidly, especially with that Imperial artillery, man. But it is not over yet. We're almost coming down to a 1-to-1. 7,000 defenders, 10,000 orcs. Come on, orkies. You can get this. Get them, you zoggers. That's it. Keep pushing around. Get that firepower distracted from up there. That's what you really want to do. The more and more firepower that can be distracted from the big surge on the other side, the better chance we get. Oh. Never mind. I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, that means it's pretty much over for the orcs at this point. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to let the last couple of units trickle in here. We're just going to hit a little time-lapse camera. Because I don't think the orcs are actually going to do it now. They're actually under force, but we've still got a lot of units coming in. We'll be back in a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I think it's safe to say that the poor old orkies didn't really manage to get that far. The poor, oh man, the overlapping firepower, actually, from the Cadians and the Death Corps is stupendous. Like, it is a heck of a challenge for any army to be able to get through that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be ending it this one here. The desert plains of Telthweed, the Eldar are performing a powerful attuning ritual. As the psychic mass reaches its crescendo, a dust storm plunges the sector into darkness. The only thing that can be seen is today's spot. As the storm subsides, the Eldar find themselves surrounded by 800,000 sluggers. The Eldar quickly form a defensive square around the Psykers and prepare for the worst. 20,000 Guardians stand their ground with 100 Psykers. Will they be able to withstand the horde, or will the desert swallow them whole? And if you do enjoy today's video, why not subscribe, as that's the best way to help the channel out. With all that being said, let's kick off today's slaughter. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off the slaughter, and as you can see already, the Eldar lines opening up straight away on the orcs. Concentrated shuriken fire is just absolutely raking that front line. Already 2,000 coming up to 3,000. Poor old orcs here have been killed, but the slugger boys here will push forward relentless. They're not going to care about any losses that they're taking at the moment. They're stomping to be had, and when the Eldar, my god, the orcs make an exception. They is rare breeds. But look at this, the orcs, regardless of the insane losses, are pushing forward. They have got the Eldar here in a pincer movement. Look at this, using the terrain here to their advantage. This is an area here that the Guardians cannot cover very effectively, and this is enabling the Orcs here to push up. My God, they are pushing up with a huge amount of units here. As you can see a poor old knob boy there getting gunned down. Them shurikens are not to be messed around with. I think I'm saying that right, shuriken? Or is that, no, that actually might be a ninja star. I don't know, but someone will correct me in the comments below. Oh, and the Orcs have actually reached the front line over here, as you can see, chewing their way through some old Guardians here. The Guardians, though, unprepared, need to hold this line at all costs. Are just putting in gunfire here. The Orcs are melting almost against this front line. They really need to come out here and start flanking in here. You can see, though, extreme losses are being had. The Orcs, regardless of it, still pushing forward. There is fighting to be had after all. Some knobs here getting to the front line. Big pneumatic crushing arms here. Just absolutely annihilating poor old Eldar. The Eldar here have taken 1,000 losses. You can see bit by bit, they are starting to flank around and complete this entire area. Oh my God, look at this. So somehow over here, the Orcs aren't able to push. I'm going to guess this is a lot to do with terrain at the moment. Bit more of a flat area is helping them, but bit by bit, with every single death, the Orcs are pushing forward. Look at that. Literally with every single death, they push forward inch by inch, and they are earning that. Oh my God, they're almost there. Little by little, we are watching the collapse here. That was very costly, but they managed to get there in the end. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Orcs have actually almost stormed their entire way through the outer area here. They have yet to meet the Eldar Psykers, though, ladies and gentlemen. Things are going to get a little bit spicy here in a moment. Oh my God, the Orcs have already taken insane losses, though, actually. 136,000 here, 7,000 losses to the Eldar. And there we go, the first psychic bolts here crashing out into the Orc line, decimating and frazzling Orc skin on contact. Warp bolts here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, in the flesh. Absolutely fantastic. Poor old Orcs here, experiencing a little bit of regret possibly, as these psychic blasts just absolutely annihilate their front lines here. Look, you can see a couple of Psykers here getting a little bit proactive in their defense. Oh, that's what we like to see. Look at that, just decimating Orc after Orc with the chain lightning there. Well, it's actually Warp Bolt. I think it's a Warp Bolt. No, Void Strike. That's what it is. It's called Void Strike. There we go. We got there in the end. But yeah, they're basically using Void Strikes here to just absolutely electrocute the enemy to death. And you can see it's very, very effective, taking out swathes and swathes of Orcs with every foul blow here. Oh my God, there's going to be some combustions here, possibly, ladies and gentlemen. Mines might explode. But look at this. The Orcs melting against the psychic power here. The Psykers pushing forward, actually cleaving their way through the poor old Orcs. Oh my God, that's a lot of Psykers there. But the Orcs are not deterred, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, still pushing forward relentlessly. They're going to keep on going here. That is only the flank, actually. That's why it doesn't look like there's many Orcs over there. That's a flank. Over here, this is one of the main lines, and the Orcs are still trying to push forward over here. They haven't quite gotten to the Eldar front line. They're taking insane losses. Once again, 240,000 kills now to the defenders. These Psykers here are really putting in the work. The poor old Orcs completely melting against them. Oh my God, look at all the blood. And Orcs jumping through the air, absolutely brilliant. Oh, I know there's a lot of Psykers here. There's a bit of an unrealistic amount of Psykers here, but it was a ritual after all. So, you know what? It's a lot of psychic power. I wonder, actually, what would happen if you put this many Psykers in one area together? I mean, I think it'd be a very painful experience. Wouldn't they have some, like, horrible feedback loop on each other or something like that? I'm pretty sure it doesn't check out too well in the lore of things. But it's fantastic to see here the Orcs getting absolutely decimated. However, what's going to happen if these Psykers should fall? You can see they are starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. The Orc numbers here playing against them. They are trying to hold out as best as they can. Oh, God. Oh, I absolutely love that. That is fantastic. Meanwhile, though, the Orcs on this side here are actually now pushing into the center of the box formation here. They are finding out, though, that these Void Strikes here are so devastating. There is a massive pile of bodies now that are starting to form here. This could actually be really detrimental to the elves, actually. The elves? The Eldar. Basically, this wall here could stop the blood from escaping, and we could end up with drowning Eldar. That is a very serious problem that they could actually have at this point. Because look, there's nowhere for the blood to go, so all the blood that's going onto this inside here, it's just going to pool up here eventually until it can flow over the bodies. Oh my god. I think the Psychers on this side died. Look at that. The Orcs instantly pushing into this area now. There's so many warp bolts going off. I'm going to keep alternating, by the way, between what I call them. You're just going to have to deal with it, quite frankly. I know the Void Strikes. They're Emperor Palpatines. That's what they are. The Orcs simply trying their best, though, pushing forward, and they are taking massive amounts of losses. Blood is flowing absolutely everywhere here. I wonder if an Orc Nob was to chop a Psyker in half, would it actually eradicate the Nob? Like, I've got to imagine that's a lot of psychic energy that's just going to obliterate out of a Psyker. I mean, that's how I imagine. They explode with psychic energy when they die, so yeah, you really wouldn't want to crush one in your pneumatic claws at all. Oh my, look at that. The dusk is starting to set at the moment. The storm in the background is fading away. The Orcs still pushing forward here. Is the battle going to go on into the night? There's still 370,000 left. Oh my god, 430,000 kills here. The defenders putting in that work. And look at this. This is the problem I was on about that they might have here. The blood is starting to pool. The Eldar here are going to have a real big problem here because they're not going to be able to pool up that blood over the bodies here. So a few Eldar might drown in the process of this, but they are still holding out. The Orcs desperately now trying to get any sense of a gap in the chink of the armor here. Trying to find one way through or another, and who knows, that blood lake might offer them that little chink that they needed, but they are getting kills still. It must be said, the Orcs aren't just dying needlessly here. I mean, lots of them are, don't get me wrong. These Psychers are putting in work. Oh my, I just love how every time one of these psychic bolts goes off, just hundreds of Orcs just die instantly. And this is going to get really cool as well now. Nighttime is starting to set here, ladies and gentlemen. The Eldar have been fighting all day, and the night is starting to approach. Look at this. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. I love the lighting in this game at times. Look at our Blood Lake as well now. After doing one circle of the defense here, the entire area is now just swarmed in blood. That's going to start getting impassable. Let's go have a look. Little Timmy, get out your rubber dinghy. Fun for the entire family. Unfortunately, though, the Eldar appear to have drowned on this side just a little bit. That is going to allow the Orcs to really start pushing in. But look at this light show. Oh, we're going to have to take the kill counter off just for a second. Look at this. Absolute insanity of nighttime here. With the gunfire lighting up everything. Orcs just pouring over the dead. And the psychic bolts just firing off into the night. They look so cool. Oh, that is amazing to look at. Let's go for a more of an overhead view here. That's an amazing light show there. 550,000 kills now to the defenders. The Orcs trying to use the nighttime to their advantage here, trying to press the attack. However, I'm pretty sure that the Eldar have got very advanced targeting systems and can pretty much just see in the dark at this point. The Orcs are finding that out the hard way. Orcs, I don't know actually. Someone tell me, do Orcs in the lore, what's their eyesight like at nighttime? I don't really know. I would imagine that it's pretty poor because things like the commandos exist and they all wear goggles and special visors and stuff like that. So yeah, I would imagine that an Orc's vision is pretty poor at night. So actually, the nighttime is probably not too kind for them. Oh my god, these psychic bolts are absolutely amazing. Just void striking the ever-living crap out of the Orcs here. The Orcs have been absolutely obliterated now. Literally like a scene from a movie now. They're just pouring over the top and tumbling over onto the Eldar dead before even getting to the front line. The kills for the Orcs are going up so slowly at this point. The Orcs might as well just give up. Of course they're not going to. That's not in the Orcs' nature, but 620,000 losses into it. You would start to question the reasonality of this. But then again, I'm not an Orc. There's no such thing as a logic. Look at this! Orcs being tossed about left, right and centre. giant bolts of electricity crackling through the night, and just thousands and thousands of Eldar standing side by side. Oh my god, absolutely fantastic. What we're going to do very quickly is we're just going to hit a little bit of a time-lapse camera and see what actually happens here. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and oh my god, look at this. Coming down here to the last 6,000 orcs. The orcs have actually melted against the poor old Eldar here. The Eldar standing firm, the Psychers absolutely annihilating this orc horde. Literally, look how quickly the numbers are going down now as this concentrated firepower just completely annihilates the remaining horde here. The Eldar successfully here defending their ritual site, but look at all these bodies. Oh my god, look at this. And all the blood that's been spilled. Let's go have a look. We've got to look at how deep that is. My, Timmy, get out the merchant ship, put the rubber dinghy away. And the bodies, they're just piled up so high here. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. In the end, all 800,000 orcs died, with 3,500 guardians remaining, and still a few psychers amongst them. But, as always, we're going to call this one here. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, the battle for Venric Pass here. We've got about 1,200 Space Marines trying to hold against just under 3 million orcs that are about to storm their position. Are the Space Marines going to have enough firepower here to hold and win the day? Or is the orky greenskin horde going to smash right through them? Well, we're going to find out. And already look at that magnificent bolt of fire there, strafing up and down the orky line. Oh, the poor old kids here are getting a little bit of a stomping straight away from the Space Marines. That bolt of fire is extremely effective. We've also got a couple of dreadnoughts over here as well. There's assault cannons there just spraying death right into that orc line. The poor old orcs, man. Oh, I do love a greenskin horde here. They're taking stupendous losses at the moment. Already 9,000 of them have been lost. But that is nothing. There's still millions here on the field as that Space Marine fire breaks up and down the line. And now we can see the Blood Raven hit jump jet infantry now, starting to make their way to that front line. Chainsaws at the ready to greet the greenskin tide. And the orcs are suddenly going to find themselves in a world of hurt here. Oh my. That assault fire is insane from the dreadnoughts here. Speaking of dreadnoughts, we have got a couple of melee dreadnoughts here on the front line. Unfortunately, they haven't got the flamethrowers with them. Well, they have, they've just got no ammunition for it. My god, the orcs, they're taking a heck of a beating, but look at them just surging in. No matter how many losses they take, they simply don't care. So much bolt of fire there is striking up and down that line. But the orcs do have storm. Oh my god, the orcs do have storm boys, and they have got mega knobs amongst them. So they have got a good chance here. The Space Marines are going to have to hold the pass at all costs. Yeah, look at that insane bolt of fire, man. The concentrated effect is just ripping open them orc hordes. Like I said, even though there's only 1,000 Space Marines here, equivalent of a chapter, it's still a lot of firepower. Oh man, and it's just peppering the cliffside in the background. That's insane. I absolutely love that. The orcs getting decimated there. You can see a couple of storm boys sometimes are the only things that manage to live through that barrage. It's a lot of firepower as the assault marines here keep pushing forward, continuing the assault. Oh gosh. For Gork and Mork, we've got an orc body bobsleigh on the go here. Snaking its way down the side of the mountain. The assault marines here continuing the assault, but look at the orcs in the distance. They completely swarm and cover the pass. But yeah, that firepower, man, it has been really effective. The Space Marines here surging forward. Dreadnoughts at the ready as well. Look at that, the massive power fists there, just taking out 50 odd orcs at a time as he just smashes into the ground. But the orcs are undeterred here, completely trying to surround the Space Marines from any angle, unless the combat line is starting to thin out little by little. The further and further the Space Marines are pushing out here, the thinner the line gets. Gives the orcs more and more of a chance. That bolter fire is still keeping up heavy. Oh gosh, look at that. Any bolter fire that is missing over here is just peppering the orc line way in the background. Let's go see if we can see any casualties over here. Oh man, there's so many orcs though, isn't there? I mean, there's only 3 million. That's not really a massive orky horde, but it's still a lot when you actually look at the size of it on the ground. They've taken up the entire pass here as they keep trying to push the Space Marine line. But the Space Marines are holding firm, as you'd expect. They've actually taken 0 losses so far, the Space Marines have. The orcs yet to bring their weapons to bear. The Space Marines now up to 195,000 kills, though. There's still 2.5 million orcs left on the field here. So, there is still chance yet, even though, like I said, the Space Marines have taken 0 losses. The orcs have still got the numbers. Are they trying to push around here? No, it doesn't look like the orcs are trying to push around any other direction. I do love this, though. Look, we've only got a few Space Marines on this side. This might be the area that falls first, actually. Doesn't seem like there's too much bolter fire support that's actually coming this way. So there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assault marines holding back this entire orc horde. And I mean, there's a lot of them coming down this way. That's very Space Marine, isn't it? That's just absolutely the Space Marine way. Don't worry, lads, we got this. Yeah, just, you know, strafe us with bolter fire. Once every 30 seconds, we'll be sound. Look at that, they're doing a magnificent job, but I do feel like that is the weak spot here for the Space Marine line. However, the rest of it seems to be pushing forward very agilely. The orcs here not able to get a foothold yet. The Space Marine line hasn't thinned out enough for them. Though I do feel, like I said before, it's starting to get there little by little. The further and further these Space Marines are pushing out, the less and less fire support they actually get. Oh, what's going on over here? Are the orcs trying to come down the side of the mountain? Oh no, they're just being... they're being shot off. That's what's happened. The orcs that are trying to make their way around the top here, with no other visible targets now. But the Space Marines in the lower plateau, they're just rinsing the orcs up here. And they're tumbling down right on top of them. There we go. The Ultramarines now starting to also move up here. God, it's happening over here as well. Look at that. Oh, that is magnificent. The orc roly-poly machine. Oh my God, that's so many of them. Let's have a look from this angle. Look at that. Oh, that's really cool. In Orc Falls. How we doing over here, guys? Look at that. We're actually pushing back that orc horde really effectively now. The Space Marines are not faltering at all. Still 0 losses here. And we're at 370,000 kills to the Space Marines. Absolutely epic work. How are we doing on the far flank over here? Again, I'm imagining that some of these Ultramarines are going to start pushing off. Oh, look at that, yeah. A couple of them are pushed right up here. At least they've got some constant support now. These guys have actually pushed forward. That's insane. They've actually pushed forward. Oh, what legends these dudes are. This is why people like the Space Marines. I wish we could get some more Chaos units in this game. Modders, if you're out there listening, please, more Warhammer units. We need crazy big battles. I'd love to see a Gargant or something. That'd be amazing. The Orc Horde here, still undeterred, pushing its units forward. You can see that a couple of Mega Nubs now are making their way to the front line. Them two are going to be hard-pressed against Dreadnoughts and Assault Marines. How are we doing on this side? Like I said, I feel like we are getting dangerously thin in places. We have got a Dreadnought over here lending its support, so maybe This will be able to hold quite nicely for a little while. We're rapidly approaching 500,000 kills here for the Space Marines. And they've been holding this front line, like I said, just amazing, actually. Even without the fire support, these Assault Marines, absolutely deadly. Some of the Emperor's finest warriors. Let's go back over here. Look at how many orcs have now gathered in this one area to push down into these Space Marine groups. The Assault Marines, again, fantastic job. Holding the pass, not letting a single orc through. In fact, actually pushing the orc horde back. We have breached 500,000 kills as well. And still, not a single Space Marine lost. Oh god, look at this. Are we actually going to split the orc army in two? See, if we can actually push forward over here. Oh, the line's getting a little bit thin. But yeah, maybe if we can push over towards that cliff face, the Space Marines might be able to cut the orc army in two. That could be really good for allowing the rest of the Ultramarines here to move up. And you can see, look at that, they've already moved up now into a position where they are actually giving fire support to this area. So it looks like the Space Marine plan at the moment is to try and split the Orc force in two. And they're very close to doing it. More and more Space Marines in the background here, moving up to allow them to get that fire support over here. And the Orcs are struggling to keep up the pace of units. Oh man, that Dreadnought going to town there. Just look at that, 20 odd Orcs, 50. It's insane. The kill ratio here, absolutely splendid. There is a crack and a gap starting to appear in the Orc line. More bolter fire there, raking right across it. The Space Marine line is holding for now. Oh man, they've done. Oh, look at that. I think they've actually done it. I think the Orc army here is officially split in two now. Yeah, I think this is impassable terrain here. At very least difficult. Okay, that's it. They've actually done it, and that is insane. The Space Marines here now splitting the army in two. I wonder what the next part of the phase is then. Are they just going to move up a load of units into the center here? Because now these guys over this side can start pushing it down the hill, which will start actually making their line really tight again. Oh, that is genius, actually. So yeah, look, as they push down this hill now, the line isn't going to be as spread out. They're all going to start stacking up again, allowing them to get that melee power really going. And it's happened over here. Look at this. They've gone from a really spaced out line, no pun intended, to fighting shoulder to shoulder. That has worked perfectly there for the Space Marines, who've still taken no losses. Some of the parts of the other line here, though, are starting to look quite shaky now. They are getting surrounded. There's still 2 million Orcs left here. Oh my days. Look at these Dreadnoughts, man. I think these Dreadnoughts then are literally the only thing holding the Orcs back in this part of the line. As the corpses are really starting to pile up now, man. Oh, that's getting stupendous here. The Space Marines standing atop the skulls. A couple of Ultramarines here in the background supporting the Bloodraven Brethren. Look how far the Space Marines... Like, remember, the Space Marines started down here, and look at all this. They've pushed so far out. How are we doing on this side? Oh my god. Look at these guys go. They've been holding this pass really effectively. Again, look, if they keep pushing forward here, they're going to be fighting shoulder to shoulder again, increasing the combat strength of the unit. It's been a really good play here by the Space Marines, but I am still worried that they're getting a little bit far away from their Ultramarine friends. Again, we've got a really nice stack of Space Marines on this side. The center line has also stacked up really nicely again. To shoulder fighting, which is absolutely crucial. So I guess then that the worrying point is maybe with the Dreadnoughts over here. We don't want the orcs to break through any point of the line. Because if they do, they'll start encircling us. And that is going to be really deadly at this point. So we need to keep an eye on this. So yeah, what I think we'll do is we'll keep an eye on this part of the line over here. So I'm a little bit worried that the orcs are going to get through. So we'll hit a little time-lapse camera. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, where we've officially had our first Space Marine loss here. The orcs have finally managed to kill a battle brother. It's only taken them 1.3 million losses to do so. But a cry of triumph goes out over the orc lines regardless. I mean, look at this side. Our chaps over here have absolutely pushed up and halted that orc advance in the path. Now, a good couple of Ultramarines have joined them on the front line, but also look at that. Look how far these chaps were over here before the time-lapse. They've now managed to push out into the valley itself. But yes, look at this. Wear and tear is starting to take here on the Space Marines. Like I said, we have had our first loss. Oh no! A second battle brother has now fallen somewhere on the field. Look at this. Oh, little Timmy is going to be very happy here. Oh no, a third battle brother is down as well. I've got a feeling he might be over here, because these guys were getting hit pretty hard over this side. But look at this, our dreadnoughts, the part that I thought whether it was going to be weak, the dreadnoughts are still going on. They are still absolutely pounding the orcs into paste on the floor there. But yeah, look at this, the orcs, man, they've taken so many losses now, 1.4 million. And the line is still holding, despite the Space Marines still getting surrounded. They've only lost 3. 3 to 1.4 million, I think that's a pretty good ratio. But we are all pretty much at chapter strength here, with just over 1,000 Marines being deployed to the pass. And they've done an excellent job of holding back this orc flanking maneuver. Let's go back down to here, because I'm really interested to see if they've got enough units to hold this combat line. I mean, to be fair, actually, they're pretty tightly packed. So yeah, I do actually think the Space Marines can hold this here. The tactic of splitting the Orc army into different groups here has worked magnificently so far. But the Space Marine defenders, I mean, they were told to hold the pass at all costs, and that's exactly what they're doing. Oh my gosh, these guys are going to push out towards the top of the path soon. Absolute beasts of war. Let's count how many are still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so yeah, basically they're all still alive. Not a single Marine has died over this side. That is intense. Oh, look at all these as well. Oh man. Yeah. The poor old orky kind here have been turned into orc paste. They're actually starting to run out of reinforcements on this flank. That's kind of interesting. Are the Space Marines going to be able to start enveloping them here? They've done a good job so far, man. Again, the Ultramarines here, oh gosh, with the firepower, pushing up here, helping the Battle Brothers out, keeping the backs safe from being surrounded there. That's some heavy concentrated firepower as well, being leveled out up here. As more Orkies go sliding down the mountain. Well, it's like I said, bit by bit. The Orcs are taking their wear and tear here on the Space Marines. We are at 4 losses here. We have still got 1 million Orcs left to kill. That's a heck of a lot of Orcs on the field, man. Oh gosh, look at this. It's actually impassable now. The Space Marines are fighting either side of it here. I mean, the Blood Ravens, so, you know, it's kind of in the name. It was bound to happen at some point, and it's almost like a Blood Raven symbol, actually. How weird is that? Actually, well, if you look at it from sort of this way, you sort of got the wings and the teardrop. Look, if you... Can we have a look at your... Yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can see it on there, but yeah. The wings and the teardrop. It's kind of crazy, that is. Also, looks like a mushroom head. But this isn't Mario. Oh, I'd love to have Mario. Just do a gigantic Mario battle. Mario versus the Imperium of Man. Are we going to take any more Space Marine losses at all here? We're quickly burning through these orcs. Like I said, we've actually secured the flank over this side a little bit now. The Space Marines starting to finally break through. Oh, you gotta love the Space Marines. They're so overpowered and broken. We might have to send them up against the Tau Empire. Even the odds out a little bit. Maybe throw in a few zombies too. But yeah, look at these guys as well. Just pushing out towards the top. They've practically killed, like, what, 300,000 odd orcs all by themselves, just pushing up this path. Absolute pieces of war, man. Look how far they've pushed out. Oh my god. They're going to end up wrapping up and splitting the orc army in half here. In fact, I think what we'll do is hit another time-lapse camera and watch these guys push out through the field and see if they actually manage to split the orc army in half here. We'll be back in a second. Well, here we are, coming down to our last 100,000 orcs left on the field. And I think that answers the question, really. If you ever have an orc infestation problem, and then threatening to do a dangerous flanking maneuver, just deploy a Space Marine chapter, and it will absolutely solve the problem for you. Oh my god, look at that devastation. The orcs here have been piled up high. There's basically this last group up here. And they're just being railed on by the Space Marines. But I do think we can be calling it this one here. With only 100,000 remaining, I don't think the orcs are actually going to manage to get through this. As always, I do... Hello there, you, and welcome to a beleaguered Imperial Guard defense line that unfortunately finds itself sandwiched between two gigantic armies. On one side, Nurgle and his plagued forces, and on the other, a greenskin war. Will Imperials be able to hold the line, or are they about to get pincered and crushed? As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. Now, let's get on with the slaughter. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, this should be an extremely spicy one. Will the Imperials be able to defend against this oncoming onslaught? We've got the greenskins over this side and Papa Nurgle over the other. And already the artillery here lighting up them center line, sending orcs orbital up towards the stratosphere. There we go, enjoying a lovely little trip here. The Imperials have got a lot of artillery. Of course, there's been a Death Corps of Krieg defense line. And needless to say that they're going to have lots and lots of artillery. Let's go over here onto the other side, see how the Chaos are getting on. So I would imagine that the Imperial tactic here then is to use these little pokey outbits to distract the forces, allowing the rest of the center lines to lay down the smackdown in terms of firepower. You see the Chaos here trying to push into this Death Corps Krieg here line, and they're taking stupendous losses. Now, it is important to note that the Chaos and the Orcs are definitely not friends in this fight. They too will be fighting each other. This is a three-way battle. It does look like the Chaos on their side starting to get close to the Imperial defenders. Like I said, the amount of losses that they're actually taking is quite literally insane. I don't think they've actually got a single kill yet. Let's go over to the Orc side, because apparently some of the Orcs have got kills. Yes, they have. They've managed to close the gap here, right onto the Deathcore lines, even with the Imperial artillery in the background, hounding the Orcs. You can see the Chopper Boys making their way forward, supported by Storm Boys. But the Imperial lines are holding for now. Luckily, this crossfire action that they've got going on is really working. You can see the Orcs are totally distracted by the closest units, allowing the rest of the line just to rail into the sides of them. Going back over to the Chaos line, we have got a load of conscripts in the centre who are actually melee units. So as the Chaos do get closer to the centre, we are going to get some conscripts trying to countercharge forward. My God, look at all this. The blood already starting to foam at the feet of the Kriegsmen here. However, them Furies are starting to get to the front line, swooping down, picking up Kriegsmen and sending them flying through the air. It is an all-out assault by the Chaos and the Orcs now. Both sides reaching the first line of defense here. It'll be interesting to start seeing when the Chaos and the Orcs start going head-to-head as well. I think that'll happen as these two outer lines here for the Guardsmen actually start to collapse. Does look like the Orcs are making more progress here than the Chaos at the moment. They're just storming ahead. I guess that's why they're called Storm Boys. Living up to the name here. I love that artillery though. I wish we could actually use the jump pack jets. That'd be really cool, just to see Orcs flying through the air and landing in the middle of them. I guess we get it with the artillery. So many Orcs have died on that front line. Look at that, stretching out into the distance. Thousands are cut down every second, but they are closing that gap bit by bit, getting closer to that Imperial Guard line. The Chaos struggling a little bit. Like I said, not making quite as much progress here as the Orcs have, but they are certainly making ground. Them Furies really helping out. You can see that they're actually starting to push the centre line. That's going to divide the firepower here from the flanks, allowing the Chaos to actually really push in a bit more. And slowly but surely, they are grinding down our Kriegermen here. The conscripts in the centre haven't activated just yet, but I've got a feeling that it's going to happen pretty damn soon. Large force of Orcs here now, pushing up that centre, no longer distracted by the flanks. Here we go, the conscript squishy centre line has activated. They're slowly going to filter their way through. Oh my God. Yeah, look, some of them are making their way over here to the Chaos line as well. Going to provide an invaluable distraction for the gunners in the centre. But I'm actually amazed that the Kriegsmen are holding out so well against this Chaos assault on this side. So many Furies are being thrown at them. I mean, look at this insanity here. Oh my God. Chaos just throwing themselves at the defense line here. The Kriegers barely having a chance to register what's going on before the Chaos are upon them. Let's go over to their side here. You can already see these cool little body piles starting to appear. Brittany might be praised by the end of this battle, but will Timmy? That is the question. Oh, and look at this. We've started to get these little tendrils. The Orcs and the Chaos finally realizing that these opponents on the other side of the battlefield here are now going head-to-head. Renegade gunners storming up the front, being met by the choppers here. And a new combat line is starting to form as both forces here trying to outflank the Imperial defense. Same on the other side. Look, we've got a nice big combat line starting to happen. The Orcs are unsure which ones they need to attack here. They're not sure whether to go for the Chaos or for the Imperials. Look at this on this side, though. Another big combat line starting to form. This is really good for the Imperials, whose front line is just getting hammered by these Orcs, man. Oh my, yeah, the Orcs have really taken a beating here, but they've also dished out a lot of pain. Them artillery rounds, man, just sending Orcs flying, but you can see some of the Orcs actually live through it, and they land in the middle of the Imperials, and they just start hacking and slashing whatever's closest. But a lot of Orcs are dying to them artillery guns. Like I said, it's really cool that we got this crazy combat line starting to form now. We get these weird things where the AI is not quite sure which one it's meant to be attacking. Oh man, the Death Corps on this side are having a field day, just railing into the side of these boys. This is a really crazy fight that's going on. The Chaos are closing that gap bit by bit. You can see, though, that these Imperials that are filtering through have been helping out ever so much against the Chaos forces. The Kriegers, though, not faltering. It looks like most of the artillery is focused on the Orc line, and I don't blame them, because the Orcs are the ones who've got the furthest so far. Pushing right into that Krieg line, taking a beating. I like things like this on the side, though, where we've just got these ever few individuals of the conscripts just running forward, halting the entire advance of the Orcs. Wish they could have that on the other side. But the Chaos and the Orcs are going head to head, and we've got this weird little line starting to form. Look how crooked that is. That's kind of crazy. But it does look like the Furies here really, really hurt the Orcs. They're very strong, these Demon Furies. How's our front line doing for the Kriegsmen? It's looking insane. The bodies are starting to pile up on that front line, man. No blood lakes just yet. We can see that the combat line for the Orcs and Chaos now starting to stretch off into the distance. Kind of looks like the Orcs are losing ground to the Chaos. The Chaos here, getting a lot of forces pushing around that flank. Yeah, you can tell, look, by this curve here. Shows you that Chaos have had more forces in the flank. Looks like the Orcs are trying to rectify that situation. Maybe it'll start bending back around. That'll be interesting. But still, lots of forces pushing into the center. And look at this. It looks like the Chaos just automatically overwhelmed that line really quickly. Out of nowhere. The Kriegers were holding that for ages, and then suddenly that line faltered. And they were in amongst them. Got a similar affair happening now. It's coming down to these last stands. We've got the two flanking groups on either side, and we've got our box formation with all the artillery in the center. The Chaos and the Orcs are going head to head. Look at this defilade that's been created, though, by the Furies. Just plowing their way through the Orcs. Man, the Orcs are taking an absolute beating from Chaos. So the Renegade Gunners here are basically on par with the Choppers, by the looks of it. Looks like neither side makes an advance. But then Furies get to the front line, and that's it. We've got a cool little three-way fight going on here. Kriegsmen, Chaos, and Orcs all going head to head. Absolute insanity. Who's gaining the upper hand on the flank, though? Oh, we've hit the map edge. Neither side gained the upper hand on the flank. We hit a map edge. Oh, that's kind of crazy. So many Orcs, though, and Chaos are pouring in. How are we doing on this side? I kind of feel like Chaos is going to get the upper hand. There's no map edge on this side, ladies and gentlemen. So one is going to win this flank over here. That's going to be the interesting part. Let's get back to the center, though, because it kind of looks like the poor Imperials now are making a last stand. Oh, my God. To be fair to them, they've got close to 900,000 kills. So, yeah, the Imperials definitely put the hurt on both teams here. But unfortunately, the last of the Kriegsmen has just fallen. Somehow the Imperials still getting kills here. But now it comes down to a brutal fight between the Orcs and the Chaos. And I don't know who's going to win this one. The Chaos have got lots of these Furies in the center. They seem really powerful against the Orcs at the moment. But the Orc Storm Boys will be really good against the Renegade Gunners. Said the fight actually looks fairly even for most of the line, where it is Choppers versus the Renegades. It is pretty static. But like I said, this flank here is the actual one where they can actually do some damage here and start outflanking one or the other. And I don't know, it kind of looks like Chaos has got the more forces here, but Orcs definitely have a lot of brutishness in the center lines. They are putting more forces over to the other flank to try and help that one. But this is a brutal line, and the Chaos are just working their way forward. They're taking a lot of losses, the Orcs are, man. They need to get a handle on these Furies pretty damn quickly. The Renegade Gunners just pouring in right behind the Furies. Yeah, I kind of think that the Orcs might be in a little bit of trouble in the center, though they have got a lot of forces here. How many of these are actually... Yeah, look at all these Furies still. Oh, my God. The Chaos here. Bringing demon parties. When a Chaos demonic incursion happens, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, does it happen. The Orcs here messing around and finding out with Chaos. We have got a little blood lake starting to appear, finally. Little Timmy be praised. It's only in its infancy, but it is definitely a blood lake. And look at that front line. The Fury's just flapping about, tearing open flesh. Going to its flank back center. Really interested to see who wins this flank. Oh my god, the Chaos lines are actually going to connect over here. Is Chaos going to break through these lines? Look at this. Everywhere that the Furies appear now, they're just ripping open the Orc lines. Like I said, it does look like Chaos is getting the upper hand on this line. But yeah, they're going to break through these Orc lines any second in the center. The Orcs really need to start getting some reinforcements and swinging them around this side. We've got this cool little fight going on in the center. Orcs trying to push reinforcements into it, but no, they've just been cut off. Orcs there making their brutal last stand. We're going to get a crack in the combat line any second here, and Chaos are going to come pouring through it. Only a few Orcs remaining actually holding this. Are the Chaos going to split the Orc force in half here now? Kind of looks like it. The Orcs aren't pushing any units around. Yeah, the Chaos there, completely enveloping that gap. Oh, look at this. We have got a blood lake. Look at this one. Oh, let's go have a little paddle. It doesn't look that deep. Yeah, definitely in its infancy. Ah, sorry, little Timmy. You can get your rubber dinghy out, rubber ducky out, but no rubber dinghy. Oh, and another one with magnificent stuff. We've been missing these. Again, still in its infancy. Yeah, just look at this. Anywhere that the Furies appear, they're just smashing through them Orc lines. The Orcs not able to deal with the demons? The demons! I think they're French demons, aren't they? The demons. Though, you know what? If the Orcs keep up this on this side, though, they might actually win this flank. There's not that many Furies over here. In fact, there's like one. If the Orcs do manage to do that, that'd be good. They can actually keep control of these flanks. They just got to actually get the kills in there. Kind of looks like, though, that Chaos slowly but surely working its way around the flank of the Orcs here. That's kind of sad. Oh, dear. I do think that we might have a bit of a Chaos imbalance here, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm quickly going to do is hit a little time-lapse camera, and we're going to see who's going to actually win this fight. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and oh my, it is the last stand of the Orcs, which is a shame because they were actually making really good progress here on this end. Look, they've made this magnificent little body pile here out of all the Renegade Gunners, but unfortunately these Chaos Furies have come along and ruined, quite frankly, everyone's day in this battle. They absolutely annihilated the Kriegsmen, and they've absolutely annihilated the Orc forces here. Though it cannot be underestimated, the Orcs did put out a world of hurt. 484,000 kills for the Orcs. The Chaos, just having sheer weight of numbers on their side, allowed them to survive the battle. And I mean, just look at this. Look at that body pile. It just literally goes up and down the length of the battlefield. It is absolutely magnificent. Brittany is going to be so proud. And this here, this is where the Imperial Guard made their stand. You can see the little box formation still in the center. My God, look at the piles of Orcs, though. Oh my God, there were so many Orcs died in the center trying to take this. Looks like the Chaos actually still have quite a few forces over this side. Why have they still got so many over here? What are they doing? Are they all trying to chase down like one dude who's stuck under the map? I think that is the case. They're probably all chasing after one guy stuck under the map. But the Chaos here have won it today, ladies and gentlemen. And oh my, what an absolutely epic fight that was. But we can... Hello there, you, and welcome to a small orc scouting party which is currently heading towards an Imperial Guard wall that has been held by Blood Ravens and Imperial Guard. Now you can see that the orcs here have created some breaches in this wall here with their long-range artillery, and this small scouting force here of about 600,000 orcs is currently being sent forth to test the defensive capabilities of the Imperial Guard here. Now we have got lots of Blood Ravens with bolters sitting on top of the lines, just absolutely raking them orcs as they start coming in here. We've got plenty of Imperial Guard ready and waiting to defend the breaches as well as the orcs try to come storming forward. We have also got a big gatehouse over here being held by Assault Space Marines, so the orcs really do have their work cut out for them here. There's the first lot come charging right into the gatehouse, and an artillery shell just goes off straight away and annihilates about 20 orcs. Let's go back over here towards the breach. The orcs making a full-fledged frontal assault here. Like I said, they're just testing out the Imperial Guard lines here. Just simply throwing 600,000 orcs here. Now, the Imperials do only have 100,000 defending, so it is very much a skeleton crew on this section of the wall, which is probably why the orcs chose this part to attack. But we can see that the choppers here and the storm boys are making their way forward, meeting the Imperial Guard, who are trying to surge forward and make a defensive line, while the cannons and the tanks in the background do their work. Things are going to get very spicy in this. Let's go over to the main gatehouse. I want to see if the Space Marines make a countercharge here. Oh, yes, they are. They certainly are. Storming forth from the gatehouse, sallying on towards the Orc Green skins here, as they try to amass their forces around this gatehouse. They're simply being pushed back, though. The Assault Marines adapt melee combatants here. You can see we've got a couple of Mega Knobs on the front line. I have actually upped their damage since we last saw them, so they should be a little bit more effective than last time. Oh my god, look at that in the background. I love all that bolter fire just raking down into the lines. Now, there's something a little bit interesting that might happen over this side. Oh no, it hasn't happened. So when I was testing it before, a couple of Imperials ended up walking it over this wall. It was really strange. It doesn't appear to be happening this time. Look at that. You can see the Space Marines just up on top of the wall there, laying the smack down into the orcs. There's no cover for them and nowhere to hide. It's just a gigantic open field. Let's go over towards our breach here in the wall, where we've got a couple of Mega Knobs pushing forward, and little Timmy is already getting his rubber dinghy out. Oh, hello. Look at this. The Imperials here are holding the ground absolutely magnificently, largely probably because of the artillery here that just comes in and annihilates a bunch of orcs. Though, interestingly, some of the harder orcs, like the Mega Knobs and the Storm Boys here, when they actually get blasted into the Imperial Guard lines, look, you can see that some of them actually survive, and they just start attacking with reckless frenzy anything that's near them. Can't blame them, really. Let's go back over then to this breach, the gatehouse, sorry, over here. Have the Imperials pushed forward? They have indeed. Once again, thanks to the Space Marines on this side, just eradicating the orcs as they get close. Does look like, though, that, yeah, look at this. All the orc gunners over here now are really starting to lay their own smackdown right back in to the guard lines. That's going to have quite a bit of an effect, especially because these Space Marines are quite tall and they're already on the high ground. They're going to be taking an absolute hammering. Luckily, the Imperial Guardsmen behind them are going to be a little bit more protected because the Space Marines are going to be absorbing the damage, and they can, quite frankly, afford to do so. Their armor is far superior to that of Conscript. Let's go back over here then. The orcs are still making their way forward here. They've actually got a little bit of purchase now. They're no longer on the outside of the wall. They're actually starting to get in, even with the artillery pumping through. Does look like the blood there is causing a little bit of a pathing issue. That might become a real big problem here as we go forward. Will the orcs actually be able to build over this with bodies? I mean, it certainly looks like it with the amount of artillery that goes off. But what's insane about it, let's see if we can capture another one. When one of the shells goes off, the hole is just instantly filled in with more orcs. Watch this. Look how quickly. There you go. So that just scattered about 100 orcs, but instantly the hole was filled in by more orcs. Oh, it's insane. Let's go over to our far breach over here, where the orcs seem to be having a little bit more success, actually. Once again, they are on the inside of the wall here, thanks to the Storm Boys storming forward, living up to their name. The Imperials here desperately trying to form a defensive line. You can see we have got a couple of Lehman Russies here, focusing all their firepower into that breach. We have got a couple of artillery guns as well. However, it's literally only a couple over this end. This could be a real weak spot here for the Imperials, who've come up to 130,000 kills now. The Orcs have only got 5,000. That's quite good numbers so far for the Imperials. But the Orcs are finding out then that the Imperials have got a lot of firepower in this area. I love this view from up here. Just all the Space Marines laying down covering fire. The breach. Oh, it looks like the Imperials are pushing them back a little bit again. That artillery working overtime here. Oh my god. Look though, it's insane. Even with all them orcs that just got flung up into the air, they're still pushing forward. That horde was just instantly, like, just collapsed right back into it. There was no rebreathe, no respite. The front line on this side looking marginally better, largely because the Space Marines are able to push out. Now, the thing with these Space Marines up here on the walls, they can't shoot directly down. They can shoot out to, like, about here. So anything underneath them directly, they can't actually shoot. It's just how the wall works and the game mechanics. Line of sight and all that lot. I did try to get them as close as possible, but it ended up spawning them on the front side over here, just on the bottom of the wall. So it is what it is. It's how the game works. Maybe one day we'll get some bigger walls that they can actually shoot through and over. Don't get me wrong though, these are much better than the old walls that we had. But look at this, the Orcs once again now surging forward. A real struggle to get units through because of all the blood that has pooled up here, which works massively in the Imperials' favour. Now, I do think the Imperials have got, as it on this side, they have got a couple of auto guns as well, which are, yeah, here they are. So these auto guns here are just going to be absolutely mincing orcs. The bullets in these things can go through several troops at once. God, that breach is devastating here. Orcs are taking monumental losses to try and make little gains. Though little by little, as this artillery goes off, it is going to fill in this blood pool, and it is going to become pathable once again. In fact, I think it's happening little by little right now. Yeah, look at all them. The Orcs are definitely starting to get through more and more now. Have we got any? Yeah, okay, I was just going to check, see if there was any flanking round. It doesn't look like it is, but we have got a couple coming in from the village on that side. But yeah, there's definitely no flanking round. That's a bit too far away for them to path around. But that breach is going all right so far. Let's go back over to this one in the middle. Okay, so again, a similar problem. The blood is just simply too much. It's really making it difficult for the Orcs to path their way through. This could be really good for the Imperials. Let's go back over to our Space Marine line, which is, oh my god, it's starting to thin out. Bit by bit, the Orcs are starting to swarm over this area now. This could be devastating. If the Space Marines falter out here, there's only conscripts remaining behind there, and it's going to be a lot harder to hold the gatehouse than it is them breaches. The gatehouse is a little bit wider, which allows a lot more troops through. But again, look at all this bolt of fire just streaming down into the Orc lines over here. The Orc gunners all lined up though, trying to return fire here, back up to the walls themselves. It's becoming a bit of a slugfest. Definitely in a battle of attrition at the moment. Will the Space Marines hold the front line over here? Will the breach hold? Will the blood eventually give way and allow more troops to pass through? It's looking marginally worse on this side, I would say, than it was on this side. Yeah, it looks a lot better for the Orcs on this side. Look at that. They are now officially gaining a foothold on the inside here, I will say. So much blood though. Can little Timmy, oh, he can get out a merchant ship. He definitely can. Look how deep that is. That's kind of crazy. 280,000 kills now for the Imperial Guard. 14,000 kills to the Orcs. The defenses are holding strong for now. But like I said, I'm really interested what happens if the Space Marines falter on this side, because they've been holding back this entire Orc wave here, which is arguably the largest wave still, despite the insane losses it's taken on this side. Yeah, the last couple of Space Marines here at the gatehouse now are being surrounded. After this, the Orcs will have a clean run. Oh no, there is a couple more Space Marines that have held back, ready to defend the gatehouse should the worst come to the worst. And it is certainly looking like that at the moment. So we have got a bit of back-to-back Space Marine action going on over here, as the Assault Marines now are completely cut off from the gatehouse. Let's go for an overhead view here. So yeah, look, you can see the line of Orc gunners over there now. But yeah, the Space Marines have been holding this area quite well, but the Orcs are definitely surging in now, little by little. The firepower is still coming down from off the walls. Let's go have a look at this breach over here. So it's kind of hard to tell if the Orcs are gaining an upper hand on this side at all. It's been very back and forth. But there's still, oh god, that artillery. There's still a lot of Orcs ready and waiting to push into that area. Let's go over to our other breach over here. Yeah, it definitely looks like the Orcs have had a lot more success on this side. But again, that artillery has just been holding them back, keeping the Orcs at bay. They desperately need to break through this. They need to build up their bodies and actually start covering up that blood if they really want any possibility of actually being able to breach this. The gunners also need to be able to take out a few of these tanks and the artillery as well. But for that to happen, they actually have to gain a foothold. However, I will say, it kind of looks like the Imperial Guard are running out of melee-willing combatants here, which could be extremely deadly, because what will happen is the conscripts will just back up, which will give the Orcs the breathing room that they need. Let's go have a look on this side, though. On this side, we're still definitely much more under control here from the Imperials. It's been a hell of a slobber knocker, but again, there's a lot more of the artillery guns and tanks being able to focus this area. I also think it's a slightly smaller breach than the other one. Let's go back over to our main gate now. Oh my god, we've still got Space Marines somehow over here holding out. These guys just refuse to die here as Imperial team reaches 370,000 kills. The Orcs now up to 21,000. The kill counters are definitely starting to increase now for the Imperials. For the Orcs, sorry. As they've largely dealt with a lot of the Space Marines on the ground here. There's going to be a lot more Imperials for them to kill now. Space Marines still holding out strong up here, barely taking any losses from the incoming Orc fire. How are we doing on this side? Okay, so the Orcs have 100% now gained a foothold. The Imperials have had to back away from the breach here. What I think we'll quickly do is hit a little time-lapse camera and see if the Orcs actually manage to establish anything over here. We'll be back in a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. The Orcs have successfully actually managed to gain a foothold here. The Imperials have had to back off into this big concave now that surrounds this. But yeah, the Orcs are just pouring through this breach now, right into the lines. The artillery is being taken out, which will be devastating for them. Let's go quickly over here, where a lot of the Orcs have decided to start having a little bit of a rave, it looks like. Oh no, that's a sign that the AI is a little bit broken. That's not good. So, unfortunately, on this side, I think the attack has largely halted, all because of broken AI. Excellent stuff. Let's go back over to our main gatehouse and see what happens over here, where the Orcs are surging forward still. Imperials desperately trying to hold them back, keeping them at bay successfully for now. Let's go back over to our breach, though. I really want to see what happens over here, because that's a big concave that the Imperials have made here. Oh my. Yeah, I don't think, even though the Orcs have actually breached this now, I don't think it's going to be enough. That's a large field that they've got to run into. A lot of open fire. Though, I will say this. They've taken out quite a few of the artillery guns and a lot of the tanks now. Imperial forces, though, are still holding on. There's a lot of conscripts in this area. Let's go over here and see if the AI has managed to fix itself at all. No, it's still a little bit broken. I tell you what, let's see if we can give it a little bit of a nudge. See if that helps. Let's, oh no, that's the wrong team. Team 2, which is the Orcs. There we go. Let's see if we can... What are these now then? Go to location and attack nearby enemies. Yes, that's what we want. Oh, no. Wrong click. Go to location, attack nearby enemies. Go to the breach. Nothing happened. Excellent. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Every now and then with some of the mods, the AI just completely breaks and they start doing this weird little vibrating thing. It happened with the Tyranids as well a bunch. But yeah, it seems to be a weird little glitch with the mods. I don't know if anyone else ever gets that. But it is kind of annoying. It's very rare, but it just happens once in a blue moon. And it always seems to be when I record as well. It's very odd. But the Imperials are going to take full advantage of the Orcs having a bit of a mental breakdown. Let's go back over to this breach here, where things are actually happening. Orcs desperately trying to reach in towards the Imperial lines here, but keep getting gunned down by the large amount of conscripts. Now, they are killing individual conscripts every now and then, but it's going to take them a while at this pace. How's our main gatehouse doing? Yeah, it's still being held on by the Imperials here. Oh my god. The artillery is just annihilating the Orcs as they try to push in here. Like I said, though, this is a scouting force. It's not the actual large Orc army. These are here just to test the firepower. And it definitely looks like the Imperials are going to need reinforcements if they're going to hold this line. But I'm guessing they've already sent out a Vox message towards command. Now, are these guys going to wake up anytime soon? What will be interesting to see is if the Imperials push out far enough, will they actually wake up and start doing something? I just, like, we need probably, like, PPK resurrection here or something. The rude sandstorm. How are we going on, guys? How's the breach going? Okay, so it's just a pile of dead Orcs so far. The Imperials do keep backing up, though. If they keep backing up, they are going to lose the artillery bit by bit as well. Some of the line is looking a little bit thinner in areas. God, that's a lot of crossfire, though. It's a good job there's no friendly fire, because the Imperials would just be ripping themselves open here in this kind of firepower. Crossfire. No, still no alive Orcs on this side. We're all having a good nap. Although, they are getting their steps in, it must be said. No one can say that the Orcs are lazy. Even though their AI is broken, they are still determined to run on the spot and get them steps in. Gotta keep fit somehow. Oh, I love how the Imperials are just taking full advantage of the situation here. Even brought up a tank. Oh dear. The poor Orcs. How are we going over here, guys? Have we actually made any meaningful progress yet? Well, look at this. They have actually pushed over the lip of the hill now and are pushing down into the main line of Imperials. However, that artillery is keeping them in check to some degree. Oh my god, yeah. That's a lot of artillery that's still focusing that one area. You can see the Orcs at the background are still trying to shoot upwards at the Space Marines up here, who have taken virtually no losses, but they themselves now are pretty much unable to return fire because the Orcs are just too close to them. They can only shoot out, like, look, you can definitely see where the bolt of fire was able to shoot out to. Look at all these dead Orcs over here. There's a lot of them. No, still not woken up yet. Oh, you gotta love the AI in this game sometimes. Oh no, a bunch more are gonna join the fray over here now and quickly gonna glitch out themselves. I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen. Come on, Orcs. You can get through here. The Imperials have done a bang-up job of holding this, and even when they did lose the breach, it basically just became an absolute slaughtering field upon the Orcs. They've desperately been trying to push this one area, and they just keep getting slaughtered. So really, the only actual proper area now then is the gatehouse, which again, the artillery has been focusing on and has really stopped the Orcs from being able to push through here. My god, what we're going to do then is quickly hit another time-lapse camera because, yeah, it's going to take a little while for the rest of these forces to clean up. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and look at this. The Orcs have finally started to get a little bit of a foothold here as they come down to their last 60,000 combatants. It has been a hard-fought battle for this. Look at this. The body pile is absolutely insane now. It's just completely swarming the gatehouse. Let's go have a look at the broken Orcs over here. Yeah, still largely completely broken. We have only got a few forces remaining over this side as well now. A lot of the gunners still trying to kill the Space Marines on top here. But the Imperial Guard semicircle over this side has been just way too effective. Look how far now that they've been able to back up. The Orcs just haven't been able to catch up. Unfortunately, a lot of the gunners too distracted here with the Space Marines. Oh, look at that as well. I don't know if you can see that. Look at the streaks here. That's where the auto guns have just been absolutely laying waste to Orcs there. Go back over to our gatehouse though, where only a few Orcs are remaining here now. 52,000 are remaining, like I said, and probably a good 10,000 of them are actually glitched out. But the Orcs did gain a little bit of a foothold here. The Imperials have been holding it back though. There's going to be a lot of cleansing fire needed here, otherwise we're going to get a lot of spores being grown. God, look at them all. Just surging through there. This artillery here, it's been absolutely invaluable. Just point blank shots right into the Orcs as they've come through the gatehouse. Let's go have a look at our blood lakes, actually. That's something we haven't kept an eye on over here. Oh, we've got one outside now. It's very small, but it is definitely there. This one largely filled in then by the looks of it, by bodies. Yeah, that's not too deep now. What about over here? So yeah, the one that was actually in the breach, completely filled up with bodies now. This one still, oh, it's still quite deep. Yeah, that's definitely merchant ship territory for little Timmy, that is. Come on, Orcs. Oh, actually, it looks like there's quite a few of them surging through here now. But again, they're chasing down little individual groups of Imperials, so it's making it really difficult for them. They need to get these gunners to stop focusing on the damn Space Marines at the top who are just laughing at them and actually start doing something. God, yeah, a lot of Orcs over here got glitched out. There's a good 10,000 here. It'll be interesting to see, actually, at the end of it, just how many are remaining. Yeah, the Imperials now closing that gap once again. That artillery just working overtime. It's a shame we can't see, like, individual stats of units, because I'd love to see how many kills the artillery got. Because I bet it's stupendous. Because they've just been point-blank shooting into that body pile. Like, could you actually imagine what... if this was real... the amount of artillery shells going into this body pile, it'd just be a chunk of charred meat. It'd be insane. I don't think the body pile would actually exist at all. Oh my. Well, I think we are going to hit another time lapse because this does take a little while for things to actually progress because they're going through a tiny little breach here. Yeah, and I don't think the Orcs are going to really have much chance on this side with the few remaining forces that they got left. The Imperials are basically in Operation Mop-Up mode here. There's only 36,000 Orcs, 59,000 Imperials remaining. So yeah, we'll focus on this gatehouse because this is the only place where anything is actually happening. And we'll be back in a moment. Well, I think that's the Orc assault largely dealt with, unfortunately, for now. Look at this, the Imperials going charging forward. So it looks like, yeah, about 12,000 Orcs then, in the end, were stuck over here. It was a lot more than that, let's face it. Probably about 30,000 in total got stuck over here, because look at all the corpses across the floor. My God, that's a lot of them. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Imperial Guard have been successful in their defense here today. Look at this, they've actually even pushed out of this breach now to flank the remaining Orcs on this side. What an absolutely slaughter-tastic firefight that was. But, yeah, I do think we are going to end this one here, ladies and gentlemen. ladies and gentlemen, you might have noticed in our last couple of videos that the forces of chaos have been quite dominating on the battlefield. And in particular, they've been laying the hurt down on some of our green-skinned friends. Well, the orcs have finally had enough of this chaos domination. It's now time for their revenge. And so an army of 2 million Zoggers has been raised, ready for some crumping. Will the orcs be able to extract their revenge, or are the forces of chaos going to leave them wanting? As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. Now, let's get on with the slaughter. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Orc the Revengeing. And we have got this gigantic greenskin horde, just shy 2.2 million here. Look at that, stretching off as far as the eye can see. And of course, we've got also a gigantic chaos horde ready to take them on. We're going to be fighting over this cool little valley that we've got as our greenskin horde goes smashing into that chaos line. Now the chaos were a little bit prepared for this fight. They did manage to get a little bit of an artillery battery set up as the greenskins are surely finding out now. Renegade gunners smashing into that front line, trying to hold back units of the greenskin army. But look at the frenzy of the front line as that artillery just sends greenskins scattering through the air. But look at this, the bigger and harder greenskins are landing in the middle of the chaos and are beginning their stomping process. Let's start scooting over the battlefield here, looking at the front line. We have got corrupted Lehman Russes here, and I have actually given the orcs some guardsman tanks to represent looted Lehman Russes, because unfortunately, we don't actually have any looted Lehman Russ skin in the game just yet. So, guardsman tanks for the orcs just for now. I wonder who's going to win out the flanks over here. Both forces pushing in massive amounts of units, but really, the insane combat is going to be down here on these front lines, in these little valleys, as the orcs tried to push in to the castle area. And there is a lot of chaos trying to surge forward. Now, the true heroes of the battle here for the chaos are going to be these guys here, the Marauders and the Furies. You see, these have been causing the orcs no end of problems in the combat in our last two videos that we did. So the orcs really are looking to extract revenge upon the chaos army here for the losses that they've incurred. You can see we have got a lot of chaos just waiting their turn. Chaos gunners lining up, laying down that covering fire onto the front line, trying to hold back the orcish advance, but in the background the Daka is also building up from the orc side. And they've got a really nice view of that hill over there. None of their shots are going to be missing. Speaking of, them artillery shells, man, doing the Emperor's work. Even though the Emperor's not here, it's still killing enemies of the Emperor either way, so he's still happy. Oh, God. So many greenskins are going skyward. It's fantastic. Some of them have got rocket packs, so they'll be absolutely fine when they land. Let's go over to the other far flank. Oh, my God, the Marauders getting to the front line. You can see the difference when Marauders get to the front line comparative to the normal Renegade gunners. The orcs are making some little bits of progress here and there. Some of the line is getting thinned out. We are starting to get this magnificent body pile appearing. But again, who's going to win out the flanks? That is a true question. Whoever wins the flanks normally wins the battle. The chaos are pushing a lot of forces down here. But look at the orc horde, man. There's so many of them. But the orcs are making ground bit by bit, thanks to the large body of renegade gunners. But yeah, the Marauders really helping to hold that front line. And then the Furies come in for backup. I love watching artillery shells just detonate in the middle of the horde in the background. Just every now and then you see these little pixels go flying through the air. It's fantastic. Chaos does feel like it's running out of reinforcements and areas, though. The concentration of gunners really starting to thin out the amount of melee troops that can make their way forward. But Chaos is known for this tactic, holding back a lot of its stronger units until the end game. And then they just overwhelm the last few defenders. So hopefully the orcs won't fall foul to this. We've already started to get these little blood lakes appearing. Magnificent stuff. I think a lot of it is going to end up pooling down here. Yeah, you can already see it starting. Oh, are the orcs going to break through? The orcs might be breaking through the chaos line. We have got a corrupted Lehman Russ lending its fire support to it, but it's not enough. The gunners here trying to back up. A lot of the Marauders are going to get stuck towards the back of the army, I bet. They haven't really quite built up yet, so we'll start finding out soon enough. But again, who's going to win this flank? This looks kind of more even over this side. That is a long battlefield. Look at that, stretching off into the distance, man. That's insane. Both kill counters are actually relatively close considering the numbers on the field here. Kind of does feel like the Orcs are pulling ahead ever so slightly, but it's probably because we've got all these mega knobs on the front line, and they are just stomping through Renegade Gunners at the moment. And it is only Renegade Gunners that are here. Them powerful pneumatic claws, man, just wearing them down really quickly, dealing AoE splash damage as well. But look, you can see all these red blobs in the middle. They're all the Marauders waiting their turn. So the Orcs are just having a bit of an easy street at the moment. Kind of looks like the Chaos has managed to push forward. On this side, yeah. Chaos are pushing forward now. A high concentration of Marauders and Winged Furies, allowing them to push back the Orcs ever so slightly. See that the tank tried to come up onto the top of the body piles, but unfortunately it looks like it's been killed. But yeah, look, this was the original combat line here, and the Chaos now have advanced forward. Again, thanks to them Marauders. My God, that is a brutal line, isn't it? It looks insane. No matter where you're looking at the moment, there's just death and destruction. The Orcs are actually gaining some real good ground on this side, though. Slowly but surely, chewing their way through that infantry. The Chaos Gunners are all lined up quite nicely now. Oh God, them tank rounds devastating from both sides. But yeah, there's definitely a lack of melee presence on this side for now. The Orcs are gaining real momentum here in the center. Yeah, look at that. They've just stormed right into that gunner line now. Carving them in half. Lots and lots of units pouring down the center. The tank fire and bolter fire just raining down on them. That's a lot for them to take in. I love that movement of units in the center. Looks crazy. Yeah, they're starting to slowly infect that line, spreading the disease of Orcs along it. The Chaos really need to help get some of these Marauders. More Marauders on the front line, chaps. We've got this little channel of melee troops coming through. That's really useful for the Chaos. You can see it's helped to reinforce this area to no end. But I'm loving this body pile we're actually making. It shows how even the combat line is. This body pile here has not really shifted. The Orcs are gaining a little bit of an advantage on that side, but down the rest of the line, it is just neck and neck fighting as we start to make this insane defilade down the length of the battlefield. More Chaos units are filtering through, though. It did look earlier like the Orcs were about to break through this line, but they've yet to do that. Seems like just enough Chaos forces are coming through. But look at these at the back. Again, Chaos up to its old tricks. The faster units filter through. And at the very back, we've got this massive group of Marauders. That is really going to put a dent in the Orc army, to be quite frank. And I don't think the Orcs are ready for it. That is going to be devastating. However, the Orcs looking like they are starting to win. The flank over here, finally pushing units round. Mega Knobs, Choppers and Storm Boys surging forward. The Chaos here, bringing gunners to bear, trying to desperately get melee troops to that front line. They've got to plug this gap quickly. Let's quickly go scoot over to our other side, see how we're getting on this side. Again, look at this. A massive group of Marauders on the back line, just waiting for their turn. In fact, it looks like over in this particular part, they're pushing forward. Maybe the rate of death over this side for the Chaos has actually increased, which has allowed the rest of them to push forward. That's kind of insane. Let's go over here. Who's winning this flank? Really hard to tell, actually. Again, lots of Marauders now. The Orcs having beaten through most of the of the renegade gunners. They are going to start facing heavier and heavier melee resistance. And look at these guys. They are actually holding the line against this insane flank maneuver. The gunners now trying to focus fire down the other orcs in the middle. More marauders trying to join the fray. A rough combat line is being formed, which is just enough for the firepower to help out that little bit. It's a tough one to call at the moment. The orcs are definitely making progress in areas, but the Chaos have got a lot of scary units still on the field. We can see all these Furies as well, flapping up and down the combat line, which is just insane. Like, scenes like this are just echoed up and down the line. Look at this body pile, man. Someone call Brittany. Tell her to come and collect a body pile, because my god, this one's a gigantic one. That's got to be, what, 3 to 4 meters tall, easily? Maybe even 5 to 6. It's pretty damn big. Here we go, though. The Marauders now making their way to that front line. The Orcs really pushing hard in this location. They've pushed down the hill. And look at these fantastic little blood lakes we've got appearing all over the place. Little Timmy and Corner just totally having a field day, lapping in the background. Again, Orcs having pushed over that hill completely. Look, this was our original... No, sorry. This was the original front line here. The Orcs managed to push past it. And now they're pushing on down into the hill. Speaking of, let's go have a look at the Blood Lake down here. Because, yeah, look at this thing. Is he digging up for little Timmy? Oh my god, look. Little Timmy, get out your air fleet. The rubber dinghy, hell, get out the merchant ship. Get everything out. That is a really deep Blood Lake then. What's going on over here, though? Again, lots of Marauders now pushing to that front line. This is going to be scary for the Orcs. There's a lot of them. All filtered into this one area because it's the one area they've been allowed to pass through. And it kind of looks like they're making their way around and down into here. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens against the Orcs now. Are these Marauders going to be able to start pushing forward? Because that is a hell of a lot of them, man. A heck of a concentration of heavy warriors. I mean, look at the rest of the combat line. It's pushing forward for the Orcs, but in this one area, it's just been completely stalled. This has been a crazy fight so far. Still can't call it either way, though. The Orcs have got 1.3 million remaining. Chaos, 220,000. But that's a lot of heavy troops, and again... It's the Marauders on the front line. Look at this. They've pushed back the Orcs so far. The Orcs have pushed all the way up to here, slaughtering the Chaos. And now, the Chaos, with the help of the Marauders, even though it's a thin line of them, have pushed the Orcs all the way back. The Orc flanking parties, though, are still coming around the outside, like trailer park girls. What's going on the rear line? Okay, so it looks like a couple of Orcs have managed to distract them somehow. Yeah, look, we ended up with one Orc over here. I don't know how that happened. He's a long way from the front line. Look at that. Magnificent display so far by the Chaos. They've been holding back this Orc horde somehow. But the Orcs are really making ground in the center. That's what I'm worried about. I think the Chaos army might get split in half here. We're starting to get a really deep lake. Look at this. Little Timmy, get out your rubber dinghy. Fun for the entire family. Though there is currently a corn army having a little bit of a paddling pool experience in there. But yeah, I love that front line. It looks insane. And so many Marauders now. Again, Chaos up to its old tricks, saving all its heavy troops till the very end. Kind of running out of troops though for Chaos. The Orcs breaking through here. Yeah, that is 100% a breakthrough. There's no gunners, there's no melee resistance. The Orcs have finally cracked the nuts. That is corn. Surging around the outsides. God. Man, these Marauders, though, still holding their own. They ain't going down. They're just here for the lust of battle. Kill, main burn. Or as I used to say, kill, main burn. I don't know why. I always just imagined that corner very cannibalistic. But we have had some really cool body piles here. This one in particular just stretches up and down the battlefield. But still, I still don't want to call this either way. Chaos has got a lot of heavy units still on the field. If we can start taking out some of these Orkish gunners, then maybe the Orc revenge will be stopped and put short. But the Orcs have gained control of this flank. We've got these weird little pockets of resistance. Just a few renegade gunners holding their own. Back-to-back fighting. But again, Orcs really struggling with the Marauders. They are very powerful units. The shields help them to deflect them incoming blows. And the bloodlust just drives them to insane acts of carnage. But you can't deny the Orcs' advance, man. They have pushed on past a lot of these body piles. Mashing that defense. The boys are out for a stomping and they ain't going to be denied it. Not against some alien spiky zoggers such as the Chaos. They do have to get through the Marauder line first. It is a lot of Marauders, man. Except they've just been holding their own. It does look like we are running out of a lot of Chaos Gunners now. Most of them have been outgunned by the Dagger of the Orcs, of course. No one can outshoot the shooty team. I love this front line though. It's been such a brutal grind forward for the Orcs. Actually still quite amazed at how many of the Orc forces are remaining here. They've killed so many of them. Oh, look at these blood lakes and body piles, man. They're absolutely insane. How are we doing? Oh, yeah, okay. The Orcs now cleaning up the last of this flank. The Chaos have no more forces over here. But look at that body pile. I love it. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It's just massive. It's massive in every way. Yeah, more Orcs pouring now right into the flank of the Chaos Gunners. Again, Marauders trying to form some rudimentary defense line here between them and the Gunners. They can do a lot of damage. Like I said, I'm amazed at how well they've been holding out against the rest of the Orc onslaught, even under the weight of firepower that's been leveled at them. Because while they're strong and do have higher health than normal units, they're definitely not invincible. But the Orcs have been extracting some really crucial revenge today. Crucial and cruel, I might say. There's going to be a lot of feasting after this one. Look at that front line. Let's go have a look at how deep this Blood Lake got as well. Really interested to see how deep this one is, especially in these areas. Yeah, it's not quite there just yet, but my God, is it widespread. And this one was magnificent. Look at that. Little Timmy's happy either way, and so is Brittany. The gods of the ChaoticPinky channel have been praised. Oh, that is a sight. Look at that. Oh, magnificent. But I think what I'm going to quickly do is we're going to time-lapse this last little bit. We've got about 27,000 cows remaining up and down the combat line. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably try to focus on this area over here. It's probably where the most action is going to happen at the moment and where we can see all the Orcs coming in. Actually, we'll move up just a little bit. There we go. And we'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the Orcs here finally extracting their revenge, proving to them pointy zoggers that green is best and red only makes you dead or faster. Look at that battlefield. Oh my God, absolutely drenched in blood here today. But I do think we can be ended this one here. there you, and welcome to a Tau defense line that's about to receive a probing attack from 500,000 orcs. Will the Tau's superior firepower be able to hold the line, or will the brutish orcs smash through them and claim their prize? As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. Now, let's get on with the slaughter. Here we go then, you zoggers. Let's see if the orcs will be able to finally smash through a Tau defense line. We've got a lot of orcs here, 500,000 of them, currently making their way to these Karut bad boys here. The Karut warriors on the front line, they're going to be playing the defensive role here, trying to hold back the orcs, letting the fire warriors and the hammerheads and these barely rendering in V8 suits here smash the orc horde from afar. And look at that firepower being leveled down right into the orcs as the Karut here start to countercharge. And oh my god, things are already getting messy here. 20,000 kills for the Tau. And bullets and pulse fire rip through the orcish horde. The Tau really do have the height advantage in this fight. But here come the Karut charging forward. Now the orcs here are going to pay, oh god, the pulse cannons, man. The orcs are going to pay a heavy price for this. You can already see that they're struggling to get units to this front line. The center's been cleared out already. The orcs need to re-spread their formation here. But the Karut are going to hold off at this little individual group. You can see the orcs are already struggling to get past this. The sheer weight of firepower dissolving them. Oh my god, they're taking so much death here. That is a lot of death. The Karut trying to push forward into it as well. That's kind of insane. You can see them hammerhead rounds as well, just clearing out vast swathes of them. But the Karut line is also starting to take a pounding here. The orcs are definitely getting kills. Rapidly approaching 1,500 here. But the orc forces, look at them pouring down from the mountains. That looks insane. It's so orcish. A gigantic horde of war. Well, it's only a probing attack, really. These guys are just testing out the Tau defense in this area. My god, look at the firelights in the background. As the war continues here, it does look like they're gaining some little bits of ground here. Yeah, they have capitulated some of the forces here, gaining the area. The Karut not going to be able to push back and recapture that. Look at that, though. The insane losses that the orcs are taking as we're rapidly approaching 100,000 kills here for the Tau. And the orcs have yet to get through the Karut line. In little places, though, we are starting to break through ever so slightly. Orc forces starting to wrap around the remaining Karut who've pushed quite far forward. Luckily, though, the Tau have a lot of range in their guns. So they've just been leveling this front line. We can see in the distance, though, a couple of orcs are making a break for it. We have got this small group here now, realizing that the zoggers on the hill have been causing them a lot of hurt. So him and the boys are going to go and sort them out. Oh, look at that. One of them got real close. We're getting another storm boy running up. Oh, God, he got so close there. The fire warrior is able to take him down finally. But it does look like now, officially, the second line is being probed by the orcs. We have got only a few Karut left on this front line. That pulse fire has been devastating to the orcs, though. They're taking stupendous losses here. They're going to try finish up the rest of the Karut, who are fighting back to back. As the orcs here coming up and surround them. Oh my god, all that firepower though. See that pulse cannon fire from the XV8 suits. Just devastating, oh my. That is a lot. But here we go, the orcs have finished up the last of the melee defense here for the Tau. And they're now going to go surging forward, trying to attack the actual fire lines here. The fire warriors though, laying down massive amounts of firepower, dissolving at that front line ever so slowly. 170,000 kills now to the Tau. 3,791 to the orcs. And the orcs are going to try and push across this big open gap. This really is just a Tau killing field. Perfect terrain, perfect defense here for the Tau. But we can see that the orcs have been using the terrain ever so slightly to gain momentum. They are getting forces ever so close here now to that Tau front line. Look at these, some of them are even going around the outer edge. The Tau trying to use that overlapping firepower to cover all sectors of their defense. But the relentless sogging push of the Greens is just making its way forward. Every death, they are gaining an inch here. And there we go, the official collapse onto the front line. The greenskins now managing to get there. Oh, it's ever so close. It's almost, and there we go. I think that is it. That's official contact now by the greenskins onto that Tau front line. And that means it's now going to spread like an infection up and down the line. You can see, here we go. It's starting to happen as more and more Tau start to die. The firepower diminishes and the orc infection starts to spread across that front line, smashing open these puny little fire warriors, letting out all the little blue goo. But the fire warriors, being the brave fire caster that they are standing their grounds, trying to take as many orcs down as possible. They have killed 232,000 of the greenskin horde so far. You can see that the greenskins on this side are really struggling due to the open and flat nature of the terrain. Them hammerhead tanks living up to their name, just smashing in that railgun fire. We have got this lovely little blood lake starting to appear here. Little Timmy has not been praised yet, nor has Brittany and her body piles, but look at the orc war. It's just hoarding its way through. Smashed its way through the first defense line here of fire warriors. And that's a lot of firepower that is being lost. The orcs have got 230,000 forces remaining. They're taking still stupendous losses. We have still got our tanks and these crisis suits back here, letting that firepower down onto that front line. Like I said, the orcs on this side, man, they're just taking such a beating. I mean, look how thick the horde starts out here. And just as they get closer and closer, bullets are flying overhead, taking out individual orcs. And then you get things like that where the hammerhead just takes them out. Yeah, look, he just gets so thin by the time they get to here now. And then as they collapse onto that front line, they are getting ever so close though. With every death, they do get closer. I love that visual though of the orcs pouring down from the mountains. All we need is a giant orc symbol in the center there and it will be complete. But the hammerheads here going to be under risk of being assaulted pretty soon. To this flank though, oh look at this, we actually managed to clear out a large chunk of the orcs who are pushing around the flank now. They're all getting distracted by that center line, allowing these fire warriors here to lend their firepower right down on top of them. And the orcs are paying for that one, simply trying to attack the nearest opponent rather than you thinking tactically and attacking the second line. The orcs are going to take a pounding here trying to take these fire warriors out. Again, that pulse fire from these XV8 suits, it is insane. Just look at that, the burst cannons. It's got to kill hundreds of orcs with each blow there. Speaking of, the orcs have got 168,000 forces remaining. It's getting very dicey. There's only 6,000 Tau. Here we go, the orcs finally starting to attack the second line again. That means that this firepower is no longer helping at that front line. Look at them, man. They're really pouring into this breach. So many orc corpses are just littered across the floor. Someone called Brittany because she has got these tiny little body piles here, full of happy little orc faces. Look at that. Oh my god, there's a lot of little faces in there. The orcs though now starting to go for the hammerheads. Unfortunately, in this game we can only have one unit using one weapon type, so it's only got its railgun. The drone weapons, Gatling guns on the side of it do not work, unfortunately. And this Tau front line finally starting to come under assault here. You can see though that we have got backup fire from two other squads with Overwatch. No wonder the orcs have had such a problem pushing this area. There's so much fields of overlapping fire. But the Tau have focused too much firepower on this one side. You can tell that because the orcs are making a break for the other flank here. The hammerhead tanks now under assault. And my god, the orcs are enveloping the poor fire warriors here. An absolute crumping is being had by the lads. And look, the orcs are still pouring down, man. There's 120,000 of them remaining. The kill counter for the Tau is significantly slowing now. They've lost a large portion of all their forces. And they are starting to get these hammerhead tanks down. Yeah, look at that. Storm boys pouring into the breach. So much focused fire in this one area. as the Orks try to pour over the tank. They're taking stupendous losses. Oh my god. The body pile that is starting to form around these tanks. Oh god, that pulse fire as well. Absolute insanity here as the Orks push into this breach. God, I want to see some more of them pulse fire bolts like that. Yeah, look at that. Disintegrating huge swathes of Orks. But the Orks are still pushing forward, man. Despite the insane losses, we're coming down to the last 100,000 of them. I love that visual of them all pouring over the body piles here. That's really cool. See that we've got a couple of mega nobs also in the way, making their way forward. This Tau support line now really under heavy assault. Choppers and Storm Boys making their way up to the top, trying to get that little attack off. Cleave one of the blue boys in half. But the blue man group here having a great time. Blasting Orks from the rear with their pulse rifles. It's now their turn to field the chopper and the axe. Look at this, the XV8 suits now under complete assault. Oh my god. The Orks swarming them. Even with the pulse cannons, they're not able to keep the Orks back. The relentless war surges on. We've got to, what, 4,500 Tau remaining. To 78,000 Orks. The Orks, having taken stupendous losses, are still managing to push forward. The Tau trying desperately to keep them back here. Forming another body pile on this front line. A lot of the Orks, though, are actually just sliding down the hill behind them. But yeah, it does look like the crumping is happening. The Orks are making their way, slowly but surely, through the Zoggers. Still got this suit here, I don't know how it's alive. A couple of the others actually have been killed now. Look, we've only got 2 left there. We've got this one here. And the Orks are relentlessly pushing forward. The suit is trying to hold them off, man. I'm amazed it's still working. I would have expected that it'd foul by now. But somehow that superior Tau metal taking an absolute beating. Have we got any blood lakes going yet? I can't see any. I'm sorry, little Timmy. I tried to make a big blood lake. I'm sorry, Timmy. It's not my fault. The son of Cord is not going to be happy. But Brittany got her body piles. Surely that's something. We got a lovely corpse lake. There's plenty of corpses out there. But here we go. The slow, methodic grind of Orks now pouring into this breach. It's actually going to be really difficult to call here. The Orks do have a lot of numbers on their side, but that Tau firepower is not to be messed about with. But yeah, it's starting to look extremely dicey here for the Tau. With every loss that they take, that firepower diminishes rapidly. And the Orks just seem to have just the right amount of numbers here. 43,000 of them. There's only 2,000 defenders remaining. They're starting to clean up this last group of fire warriors over here. I don't know, man. I think this might be an Ork victory. It's starting to increasingly look like this. But look, it's Ork terrain, this is. This is 100% Ork homeland looking. All we need is a few, you know, little big skull icons over there, a few teeth in the ground. We'd be sorted. My God, that has been an absolute grind fest for them. Let's go have a quick look at these body piles here for Brittany. Because these are some really nice. Like I said, they're not actually that tall, but they are spread out really nicely. Look, just nowhere. There's no terrain left. All you can see is Ork corpses absolutely everywhere. The final grind down, though. We're down to less than 1,000 fire warriors here. They've done an excellent job of trying to hold this fortification. But the Orks, man, just way too many of them, way too aggressive. As soon as they got the hook in onto that left flank, that was it. The Orks were punching through it. They did waver a little bit there, where they, you know, started attacking the front line again. But yeah, as soon as them Orks started attacking the rear and final line here for the Tau, it was all but over. The firepower was distracted from the front lines. The Orks were able to basically just grind down the Tau by absorbing the insane losses that they've taken. I mean, don't get me wrong, look, the Tau here killed 452,000 orcs. And the orcs have only got 32,000 remaining, so it was a pretty damn close fight, realistically. A few more, like a minute more on that front line, if the current lasted about a minute longer, this would have easily been a Tau victory. But unfortunately, sheer weight of numbers and aggressive play style here by the orcs has won them the day. Oh my god. Look at that. But ladies and gentlemen, I do think we can call this one here. Because unfortunately for the Tau of the Orcs, an Imperial Valkyrie has come by and noticed the little war here and has decided to put an end to things. And as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all our channel members who help to keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the ChaoticPinky store. We've got some amazingly cool merch over there. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.